Hi everyone, welcome to New York City. It is about 54 Fahrenheit, 12.5 Celsius or so. It's about 10 minutes before 6 p.m. in New York City, and we are downtown Manhattan. We're on Broadway, Lower Broadway. We are south of Wall Street, and we had some news today in New York City of this incredible statue right here called Fearless Girl. Let me get you a look at Fearless Girl was put up here in downtown Manhattan last month, and she had a permit that would only enable her to be on display until next week. And today our mayor, in conjunction with work that he's done with local authorities, announced that this statue, Fearless Girl, will remain here through February of 2018. So some good news announced about this that just happened today. And you can see Fearless Girl, who is about 4 feet tall, is staring down in defiance the charging bull on Wall Street. I keep saying Wall Street. Technically, we're south of Wall Street on Broadway. So Fearless Girl, an empowering statue for young girls and women around the world, was put up, was commissioned, an artist was commissioned on behalf of State Street Investment Banking Company. And it was the reason that Fearless Girl was commissioned and the statue was placed here was because last month was International Women's Month, and the folks who ran State Street Bank wanted to send a message for more corporations in the United States to put more women on the board. And as a result of Fearless Girl, it drew tons and tons of crowds. She only stands at 4 feet, and it's become an enormous tourist attraction. People are just coming in droves, getting their photos with her. It's all over the news. There's always politicians down here. Hey Gary, hey Jamie, sorry I'm missing comments. Hey Lady Lucas. And she has become one heck of an attraction down here on Wall Street. And the permit, as I mentioned, was set to expire at the end of next week. She was scheduled to come down and be taken away. And there was an uproar, not only with us in New York City, but the tourists said, don't take this statue away. It's too empowering. It's too important of a message. So the city of New York worked with the authorities and extended the permit through the end of February of 2018. So she's going to be up here for a while, so it's great news. She stands at about 4 feet, was put here about a month ago. And the artist's name is Kristen Visbal, V-I-S-B-A-L. She is the artist for Fearless Girl that you're looking at right here on Wall Street. There's a ton of tourists here. This is normally very popular anyway at this location because there are tourists from all over the world looking at the bull, which is she's facing right now. And I agree it should be permanent. I believe the plan is to move her to a permanent location after February of 2018, I believe. So it was just announced today by our mayor that she's not going anywhere, at least for the time being. She'll be here through February of 2018. Now let's get to the bull, and let me point out some interesting facts about this bull. So this is the famous bull. The official name is called the Charging Bull, and there's a very interesting story about this bull. The name of the artist is Arturo Di Modica. And what happened was Mr. Di Modica, I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name, after the stock market crash on Wall Street in 1987, this artist decided to commission this bull without getting any city permits. And the artist who built this out of bronze to empower America that she remains strong and recovers from the stock market crash of 1987. And what the artist did, it took about 2 years to build this. It's made of bronze. It's over 7,100 pounds. It's 11 feet tall and 16 feet long. And the bull was finally, without a permit, the artist in 1989, when it was ready, took this bull and just placed it overnight under the cover of darkness right in front of the New York Stock Exchange. in 1989. So people were coming into work the next morning and they saw this thing, this bull, just standing in front of the stock exchange. So because there was no permits, the authorities impounded it and took it away. And the tourists went crazy. They went berserk. They demanded that this bull be taken out of impounding and be put right back on Wall Street. But the city argued it was done without a permit, and it was done undercover at night in the undercover of darkness. And the public was in an uproar. They said, don't you dare impound this bull. You take it right back out and put it right where you found it. So a compromise was agreed to, and the bull was moved right down here on Wall Street, on Lower Broadway, south of Wall Street, shortly thereafter. So that is the story of Charging Bull. Again, the artist is Arturo Domica. And by the way, the artist of Charging Bull is not at all happy with Fearless Girl. He wants Fearless Girl out. He thinks it's a publicity stunt. He does not want Fearless Girl staring at his now legal sculpture of Charging Bull, and he wants her out of there. But guess what? That's not going to happen, at least until February of next year. So Fearless Girl, who stands at 4 feet, is not going anywhere. She'll be up a bit longer. So we're very happy to hear that. Lots of tourists here, upon hearing the news, all taking their photos with her. The artist of Fearless Girl is a woman named Kristen Wiesbal, V like Victor, I-S-B-A-L. And Fearless Girl is also made out of bronze. She stands up slightly over 4 feet tall. And I'm going to turn the camera the other way and show you the bull once again. She is staring down the Charging Bull. No, Elena, she will not permanently be here. She is here through February of next year, and then the plan is to move her to a permanent location. And you can see she's staring down the Charging Bull, also made of bronze, over 7,100 pounds, 11 feet tall at its tallest point, and 16 feet long. Charging Bull. We're down here in Lower Manhattan. We're south of Wall Street. We are physically on Broadway, almost at the southern tip of Manhattan. And the artist of Charging Bull is Arturo D. Modica. Thank you very much. And again, as I mentioned, Arturo, under the cover of darkness, built this without any permits, did not go through the steps that he was supposed to take, as any artist must take if they want their sculpture or artwork shown in New York. And he built it out of, he was inspired after the stock market crash of 1987. He built this as an inspiration to the American people for strength and perseverance after the stock market crash of 87. And under the cover of darkness, he just had it placed in front of the New York Stock Exchange in December of 1989 without any permits, and tourists flocked to it. The police impounded it because it was put there illegally. There was an uproar. People loved it. So after negotiations, the city of New York agreed to move it down here to Lower Broadway. And it's been here ever since, and it's a permanent fixture here in New York City. So that's the story of Charging Bull. Tourists refer to this as the Wall Street Bull or the Bull of Wall Street, but its official art name, I believe, is Charging Bull, made out of bronze, over 7,100 pounds, 16 feet long, 11 feet tall. Mr. and Mrs. Daft Punk, you're absolutely correct. Although in most cases it doesn't work that way, but in this case it did work out that they made an agreement, came to a positive resolution, and it's been a huge tourist attraction. I believe this is the second most photographed statue in New York City. Do you care to guess what the first most photographed statue is in New York City? You guessed it, the Statue of Liberty is #1. I think this is #2. If it's not, it's pretty close. It's up there in the top 10. Yes, we just talked about that Pebble Boop. Under the cover of darkness in 1989, this this Charging Bull artwork was illegally, under the cover of darkness, plopped in front of the New York Stock Exchange in '89. It was therefore impounded by the New York City Police Department because it was placed there illegally. The tourists and the people of New York were up in arms over that. They were furious. They said, don't you dare impound this great piece of art, make it permanent. So they moved it to Lower Broadway in Manhattan. We're south of Wall Street on Broadway, and that's where this Charging Bull is. I physically have never been to the Statue of Liberty. I've scoped from it, but from downtown Manhattan in New York Harbor. I've never physically been to the Statue of Liberty, and I am a lifelong New Yorker. Once again, here is Fearless Girl. Fearless Girl. Oh, I don't like to photograph children. Let's wait till they move out of the way. Sorry about that. Fearless Girl was placed here, legally, permit, by an artist, commissioned to artist Kristen Wiesbal by State Street Investment Company as part of Women's Month last month. And the purpose of it is to encourage corporations throughout the United States to put more women on their boards and put more women in executive positions on Wall Street. And Fearless Girl is about 4 feet tall, made of bronze, staring down Charging Bull. And that's, I don't believe they did sour. And that is exactly what she's there for. Now, she's in the news today, a lot of news today about Fearless Girl, because the permit was set to expire at the end of next week. Whatever the end of next week's date is, early April, the permit is due, expiring, and she was scheduled to come down. Just a few hours ago today, the mayor of New York City announced that the permit has been extended through the end of February of 2018, and I believe at that point they will move it to a permanent location in Manhattan. So thank you, Brit Spy. I appreciate it. Now, I missed many, many comments, so I'm going to start looking at the comments now. I failed to say hello to a bunch of people. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Dutchmass. Dutchmass, phenomenal scoper out of New York City. Give him a follow. Jamie_G13 does great sunsets. I think I saw Elena here earlier. Hello to her. Neebul's here. I want to say hello to all of you. The stock, Jeremiah, hello. The stock market was down 45 points today. Omaha Ron, thank you for being here. She is, well, you never know, Mr. and Mrs. Daptron. Anything can happen between now and the end of February 2018. But for right now, today, that is the news. She was scheduled to leave us and be taken down at the end of next week. But the mayor, just a few hours ago, announced she's not going anywhere, at least not until the end of February of 2018. So great news on Wall Street down here. I keep on referring that we're on Wall Street. We're south of Wall Street on Broadway. Apologies for that. For those just joining, welcome to New York City. We are in downtown Manhattan on Lower Broadway at 6:05 p.m. in the early evening, 54 Fahrenheit, about 12.5 Celsius right now, give or take. Oh, I'm very close to you, Pebble. Good to see you, Elena. Yes, I'm the only New Yorker here. This is a very, very popular tourist attraction. Besides the Statue of Liberty, Charging Bull that you're looking at right now, I believe is the second or third most photographed statue in all of Manhattan. Dutch can correct me on that. I could be mistaken, but Dutch will know for sure. The Charging Bull the artist was Arturo Di Modica, and it's 7,100 pounds. It's 11 feet tall at its tallest point, and 16 feet long, including that tail all the way in the back. A Fearless Girl, who is staring down Charging Bull, stands at 4 feet, slightly over 4 feet, maybe an inch or two taller than that. She's a huge inspiration to young girls and women in Wall Street and throughout America, because we do not have enough women on corporate American boards here. We do not have enough women executives on Wall Street. So State Street Investment Company, or the hedge fund, I forgot what their full title is, but State Street commissioned artist Kristen Wiesbal to develop and build and make this statue. She did a great job. It's bronze, and she is staring down the Charging Bull. The news today that Rick Paul asked about is her permit to be here was scheduled to expire at the end of next week, and she was scheduled to be removed by the city at the end of next week. But the tourists and New Yorkers alike have been writing petitions and loudly complaining that she should not be going anywhere. So the mayor of New York just announced a few hours ago she gets to stay at least until the end of February of next year, February 28th, 2018. And by then anything can happen. They can agree to keep her here permanently or move her somewhere else permanently. But for now, she's safe. She'll be here through the end of February of next year. And here we go. Jason, all religions put women in second and third classes. Women cannot become priests. Women are not, there are other things that all religions I can show you women are discriminated against. So let's not single out any one religion. But we're not going to get into a religious argument. Egypt with Ahmad. Salam. Everyone follow Egypt with Ahmad. Just phenomenal scopes out of Egypt. The pyramids, incredible historic history out of Egypt. Put up some emojis. Put up some emojis, Ahmad. Jason, please behave yourself and at least pretend you're a gentleman. I know that's difficult, but give it your best. Gary, good to see you, Gary. Egypt with Ahmad, I'm waiting for you to put up, so there he is. Egypt with Ahmad, phenomenal scoper out of Egypt, scopes the pyramids and historic sites throughout Egypt. Incredible scoper. Give him a follow. Once again, for those just joining, welcome to New York City. We're in downtown Manhattan in Lower Broadway. We're talking about two very famous statues. This statue right here is known as Charging Bull, representing Wall Street and the tenacity of America after the stock market crash of 1987. Hey, T-Bear, you want me to do a 360? Here's the 360. We're on Lower Broadway in Manhattan. That's Broadway, straight up there. Whenever they have the famous ticker tape parades on Broadway, this is where they start, right here, and they go straight up north. And right here is Fearless Girl. A lot of tourists here. Let me try and get a good shot. And here is the famous statue just erected last month of Fearless Girl. And the news today is that she will be here through February 28th of next year. She was scheduled to be taken down at the end of next week. The mayor just announced a few hours ago that she gets to stay till the end of February next year, and then hopefully they can move her to a more permanent location. She stands at 4 feet, made slightly over 4 feet, and she is bronze, made out of bronze, and just an inspiration to many men and women alike, especially young girls and women. I agree with you, user. She is here at least until February, through the end of February of next year. Amazing work of art. The tourists have just been flocking to her like you cannot believe. Jason. Goodbye, Jason. And there you go. There she is. Just an amazing statue. And she is staring down Charging Bull. Charging Bull was built by the artist Arturo Di Domica, and he was inspired to build Charging Bull after the stock market crash of 1987. It took him about 3 years to build this. It's made out of bronze. It's 7,100 pounds, 11 feet tall by 16 feet long. And he built this illegally. He did not get any permits. And in December of 1989, under the cover of darkness, the artist, with some help from some friends, just very quietly took this statue and dropped it off right in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Because it was placed there illegally and he did not go through the proper channels of getting permits, the police confiscated this Charging Bull in 1989, impounded it, and took it away. Tourists then began protesting. There was an uproar by New Yorkers as well. They loved the Charging Bull. They did not want it impounded. They demanded that it be taken out of impoundment and be placed permanently on display in New York City. So an agreement was reached. The Wall Street Charging Bull was moved here to Lower Manhattan, and it's been here ever since. It's one of the most photographed statues in all of New York City. Of course, the Statue of Liberty is the most photographed statue in Manhattan, but I think Raging Bull is within the, I keep saying Raging Bull, Charging Bull is within the top 5 most photographed statues in all of Manhattan. There's Fearless Girl, let me go back to Fearless Girl, which is facing the Charging Bull in defiance, leaning in and in defiance is facing the Charging Bull. She was scheduled, her permit expires at the end of next week, but a lot of people, tourists and New Yorkers alike, protested, signed petitions. Local politicians got involved, and they just today the mayor of New York announced that Fearless Girl will now remain here through February 28th of 2018. After that time, we don't know what's going to happen. There's talk of moving her somewhere else permanently, or who knows, maybe there'll be a decision to keep her here. But for now, what is definitive is that Fearless Girl is not going anywhere through February of 2018. I am not a newscaster. I work on Wall Street or near Wall Street in the Wall Street industry, and I do communications. The stock market today was down 45 points. It began the day down over 100 and climbed back to close at -45.
I don't think you're going to get it by itself.
Scorn woman, good to see you. This is one of the most popular, this Charging Bull is one of the most popular tourist attractions in New York. I didn't check Unilever today, I don't follow that stock.
Got it.
So I'll stay here a little bit longer and then we'll start walking north and we'll take you to Wall Street. I have no idea, Rick Paul. I don't ask their permission. I try not to photograph children, although inevitably they are getting in front of the camera today, and that's not intentional. I do apologize. I do try to make an effort not to photograph young children. What if it came to life, like the Ghostbusters movie? Once again, Charging Bull is made out of bronze, approximately 7,100 pounds, 11 feet at its tallest point, and 16 feet long. I am the only New Yorker at this spot. It's all tourists. So what we're going to do now, we're going to leave the Bull. So we're going to walk there next. So here's our last look at Fearless Girl. Both are bronze. Both are bronze. Fearless Girl stands at about 4 feet, maybe an inch or two more than that. And she is staring down Charging Bull in defiance, in strength, in empowerment. Why can't you photograph on Periscope? I don't understand. You should be able to take a screenshot with no problem. So we're going to leave this area and we're going to walk to Wall Street. I'm going to show you the New York Stock Exchange. That is our next stop. We're just going to walk a block or two this way and I will take you to the New York Stock Exchange and we'll get a view of that and then we'll wrap up the scope. Who's in exile? I missed that comment. You keep having to leave and come back because the screen is freezing. Periscope's been having a lot of issues lately and nothing I can do about that. Sorry. This is Broadway, cameras facing north. If you're still with me, if we still have a signal, we are heading north to Wall Street. I'm going to show you the front of the New York Stock Exchange and then we'll wrap up the scope. Scotland in the house. If you tuned in late and you missed the Charging Bull statue, you also missed Fearless Girl, but that will be available for you on replay. We are walking north. Thank you, Tuna. We're walking north on Broadway. We're in downtown Manhattan. We're in the financial district. Stock market was down 45 points today. You see that building? It's hard, I know where it is, but it's hard to point out. Trinity Church is right there, the famous Trinity Church on Wall Street and Broadway. Trinity Church was made famous on September 11th, 2001, because it was a resting spot for a lot of the injured, the firemen and the police. You can see Trinity Church coming into view right now. Alexander Hamilton, I believe, is buried at Trinity Church. Egypt with Ahmad, phenomenal scoper. I think Joey just joined us from Brooklyn. Joey put up some emojis. Joey's a great scoper out of Brooklyn and New York City. Good to see you, Joey. There's this top of Trinity Church. That is on Broadway where Wall Street meets Broadway. We're walking north on Broadway and I'm going to take you to the front entrance of the New York Stock Exchange and we'll talk about that and then we'll wrap up the scope. So we got about another 10 minutes, 15 minutes left in the scope before we wrap it up. There's Joey _67. Give him a follow. Great scoper out of Brooklyn, but he also scopes here in Manhattan. Gary, good to see you, Gary. My pleasure, Joey. All true. We're underneath a construction site, so unfortunately the view is partially blocked, but you can see Trinity Church diagonally across the street. It's a historic landmark building. Mr. Greenberg, good to see you, sir. Give my regards to your daughter. Hope all is well. Let me show you the Freedom Tower, by the way. Let me show you the Freedom Tower. Right there, do you see it? That's the Freedom Tower. 1,776 feet tall, that includes the top of the antenna. That right there is the Freedom Tower in downtown Manhattan. So right here is Trinity Church that we just spoke about, and there's the Freedom Tower, right there. Right there. How many companies? A lot. The Trump Tower is way further uptown on 5th Avenue between 56th and 57th. We're down by Wall Street, several miles to the south of that location. There is the Freedom Tower. I'll stay on this for a few more seconds and then we will walk on Wall Street. That right there is the Freedom Tower. I don't know all the details of Trinity Church, but it's historic. I believe Alexander Hamilton is buried there, and it was made famous to the rest of the world on September 11th, 2001, because it was used as a resting stop and first aid station for the injured firemen, police officers, and other injured people. There's your last view of the Freedom Tower. Oh, Egypt with Ahmad, thank you. We so appreciate you being here. I love your scopes. It's a beautiful day today. It's about 54. I think that's about 12 Celsius. Which networks? CBS, ABC, Fox 5, and NBC. Those are the local stations. The Silver Building is part of the, this is part of the World Trade Center complex. That's the Freedom Tower. That's either number 1. I forgot what number that was. It's number 2 or number 3 World Trade, but I could be wrong. There's your last view of the Freedom Tower, guys. I'm taking you to Wall Street now. Someone's giving Jamie roses? Jamie, you have a secret admirer. Number 2, thank you, Joey. That Silver Building was number 2 World Trade. There's Trinity Church, which is physically on Broadway, and we're about to enter Wall Street. We're going to walk to the Stock Exchange. Any new buildings in Manhattan, there's construction all over Manhattan all the time. Always new buildings. Now, Gary and Now in Exile seem to be having an animated discussion. I would expect all of you to be on your best behavior as we walk on Wall Street right now. This is Wall Street. We are now on Wall Street, but we're underneath a construction zone. Things should clear up in a moment. Do I speak Turkish? Turkey, merhaba. That's the only Turkish I know. Merhaba. Okay. This is the employee entrance to the New York Stock Exchange. If you are an employee, this is where you enter. I will show you the public entrance in a moment. But you cannot just walk into the Stock Exchange. You have to be on a guest list for a tour or maybe a job interview, or you're meeting a friend. Then you get put on the list and you have to go through this white security tent that you see here. Yeshua Solomon, shalom. I have not seen you on here in ages. Hope all is well, sir. Periscope is owned by Twitter, and Twitter is publicly traded. All right, we are physically on Wall Street. You can see the historic cobblestone streets. We are on Wall Street. Now, there's 2 very famous buildings I want to show you. This one right here, which we're going to talk about, and then another famous building right behind it. So let's start with this one first. The signal gets a little wacky here, so hopefully you're still with me. This is Wall Street. We are physically standing on Wall Street. This building right here is the original Federal Hall. This is the original Congress of the United States. Now, of course, our Congress is now in Washington, D.C. Our capital is now in Washington, D.C., but way back in the day, it was right here on Wall Street. This is the original Federal Hall. Now, it's been rebuilt, but this is the original location. It is now a museum. I believe it's free, so if you ever come down to New York City, visit it. Now, here's what's so interesting about this. Gary, you never have to apologize to me. Right there is the statue of George Washington. That right there is the approximate spot where our first president, George Washington, in the United States, took the oath of office and gave his inaugural address. Right there where he's standing, that is the approximate spot where he took the oath of office and gave his inaugural address. The original Federal Hall, right here on Wall Street. Now, look very closely at George Washington. Look at George Washington's eyes. He is fixated on something. He is absolutely fixated on something. He is looking diagonally across the street at something. What is George Washington looking at? Let's follow his eyes and take a look. So let's see what George Washington is looking at. Oh, right there, that's the New York Stock Exchange. There it is, right across the street. No, he's looking at the New York Stock Exchange. That is the New York Stock Exchange right there. Yes, I do hear bagpipes. I don't know what's going on, but I do hear bagpipes. There's always something going on in New York City. Yeshua, I'm embarrassed to answer that question, but I don't know. It went from Wall Street to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and then ended up in Washington, D.C. I think it had to do with the physical location because it protected it from British invasion, because Washington, D.C. is not near the coastline. It's more inland and it's more protected. That's a guess. And I'm only a lifelong born American. You think I would know that like the back of my hand, and I don't, which is typical of us Americans. I hear that bagpipe, Carrie. Yeah, maybe he's looking for you. We'll walk down and see what that's all about. It could be a protest. A lot of times they make loud noise to garner attention because they're protesting something. So you're looking at the New York Stock Exchange, the market right now. Why is it called Wall Street? Because it's on Wall Street. I am physically, this is the original cobblestone. We're on Wall Street. There's Trinity Church that we spoke about earlier. And we are, the New York Stock Exchange is on Wall Street and Broad, the intersection of Broad and Wall. So there's the sign for Broad Street, and there, right there, is the sign for Wall Street. And right there is George Washington. That's the original Federal Hall, our original Congress. And George Washington, that's where the approximate spot where he took the oath of office and gave his inaugural address. And diagonally across the street from George Washington is the New York Stock Exchange. I work just a few blocks from here, Elena, very close by. Let's go find out where those bagpipes are coming from. So we're going to leave the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to say goodbye to that, and we're going to see where these bagpipes are coming from. We are physically on Wall Street. We are physically on Wall Street. You'll notice there's no automobile traffic on Wall Street. Why? Because it was barricaded and closed to all traffic after September 11th, 2001. No cars allowed on Wall Street. And I'll show you the barricades to prevent automobiles from entering Wall Street. You can see them right up ahead. Only emergency vehicles like police, ambulance, and you're not getting through these barricades. So you can see this was all erected after September 11th, 2001. Wall Street, no more traffic allowed, no automobiles allowed on Wall Street. By the way, this is 44 Wall Street. This is one of Donald Trump's office buildings. He does not work here. It just has his name on it. It's one of his office buildings, 44 Wall Street. So let's go look for where these bagpipes are coming from. I suspect it's a protest of some sort, but we'll see. That's where we're heading. Let's follow the sounds of the bagpipes. Okay, and of course, as I get closer, the sound stops. So I don't know where the bagpipe is. Now, there's some event going on in front of Cipriani's. I see a red carpet out. I see media. So there's something going on there. I'm wondering if that's where the bagpiper is. But of course, just as we get close, the sound stops, and I don't see a bagpiper. So I don't know where he or she disappeared to. Let's go see what's happening over here with this white tent. I see a red carpet. I think I see media. We'll have to check this out. Oh, he started again. Where is this bagpipe coming from? Hold on. I'm trying to find the bagpipe. Hold on. There's some event going on here. There's a red carpet out. Could be a charity event. Who knows? That's where the bagpiper is, but I don't see him, but he's got to be right in front of it. I don't see him, guys. I'm wondering if it's a speaker. Oh, there he is. There he is. Thank you, T-Bear. Yeah, there's Gary on the balcony. Thank you, Gary. I have no idea what's going on. There's a red carpet event. This is Cipriani's, which is known for hosting lots of different charity events and galas and parties. Here's the red carpet event directly across the street. Let me zoom out for a second. So I don't know what's going on, but there's some event going on. And I think the Bad Piper left us. I don't see him. He's on a break. All right, everyone. So I'm going to leave you with this view of Wall Street. I want to thank you all for joining. I'll show you the subway that I take. This is the Wall Street subway station. He buggered off, Gary. It's not. It's a restaurant called Cipriani. It's a large meeting space restaurant where they hold events, charity events, galas, parties. This is the 203 express line. If you take this north, which is what I'm going to do, it takes you back uptown, and it will take me to the Columbus Circle area, which is where I live in that location. If you go south, it will take you into Brooklyn. And I'm heading right down there as soon as I wrap up the scope, which I'm going to do right now. So I want to thank all of you so much for joining. I really appreciate all of you, as always. And if you tuned in late, watch the replay to see the Charging Bull and Fearless Girl. And I will be back, if not tomorrow, sometime this week to bring you more Periscopes. Until then, take care, everyone. Have a great night. Or good morning, wherever you are in the world. From New York, it's good evening. Bye for now.